Hi and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Lauren and I'm posting videos every other week. I haven't been active in posting for the last month or so as I've spent some time moving back to uni and getting ready for my third and final year. However, now I'm settled, I will be getting back into the routine of posting every other week again. Thank you so much for being patient, and thank you to all my new subscribers who have joined my channel and for getting me over 100 subscribers. At the beginning of the year, I didn't expect to be at 100 subscribers so soon, so thank you. This week I've created an open triangle back tie top with a crossover in the front and floaty sleeves. I'll try and shorten that description in my title, I think. But with that, let's get to it. I used the top of this dress to create a template for the overlapping that I wanted to have on my top, and then traced onto a piece of muslin fabric and added a bit more onto the bottom section of the top as I plan to gather it on later. The dress that I've used in a video before, so I'll link in the cards to that video. I folded the fabric in half, laid the pattern piece down and then cut around, allowing space for seam allowance. This gave me two mirror copies of the pattern piece, and then I was able to overlap them to create the front of my top. To create the back of the top, I just traced around the dress again, but lowering the neckline and also leaving seam allowance all the way around, and then cut the piece in half. So I had two back pieces that were originally one back piece when they were cut on the fold. This way I was able to gather the bottom sections and then create that triangle shape on the back. To create the waistband, I just simply cut a long strip of fabric that went round my waist and then had enough extra to create the bow, and then folded it into multiple layers so I was able to cut it all out at once. I doubled the width that I wanted my waistband and then added a little bit on for seam allowance. I pinned and sewed the shoulder seams and the side seams of the four pieces together to create two pieces which will later attach together. I just simply started off by hemming all my raw edges, so I folded everything over with a double roll and then sewed everything in place before carrying on. I came back to the body form and put my two hem pieces on top and decided which one was going to be layered on top of the other, and then I pinned the V-neck together so I was able to be certain as to where that would be, and then lined the bottom pieces up together and pinned those in place. I sewed the two pieces together using a basting stitch, which I then used to gather up to create the back space to give us that triangle effect at the end. To create the gathers, I simply pulled on one of the threads and then bunched the fabric evenly around the top, making sure that there was a space in the back and that the two back points didn't meet. To make sure it turned out well, I pinned the top section of the back, as seen on screen now, to the body form so I could work out how my shape would look. With a little bit of pinning and some sewing, I was nearly finished, and this is what the end result should look like. But obviously we're not quite there yet. A little hack when it comes to having to get the iron and ironing board out to sharpen edges or create clean folds is to use a pair of hair straighteners. I have a small pair of cheap travel hair straighteners that work perfectly when it comes to finishing off edges. This last little bit is reasonably simple, but it just takes a bit of time. I attached the waistband by starting in the center of the waistband strip and also finding the center of the top, and then pinned those two pieces together, right sides touching, and then continued to pin the top along both sides of that center point. Then I flipped it upside down, tucked in the raw edge of the waistband, and then pinned that new edge to the inside of my top, evenly spreading it out similar to how I'd done on the other side. And then I was able to sew a straight line from one end all the way to the other. And just to finish it off, I also tucked in the edges of the waistband and sewed those down in place too. Once I got to the point of editing, I realised I hadn't filmed creating and attaching the sleeves, so I'll link in the cards above to another video where I briefly explain how to create and attach sleeves. I just had my sleeves slightly more wavy rather than fitted. However, once I'd sewn the waistband on, I was done. I'm really pleased with how this top has turned out. The longer sleeves make it a good transitional top for autumn. I love the lightness and the cute opening at the back. I used a little set of hook and eye closures to join the top back bit. However, I'd actually recommend using a button and creating a little loop. This top could be dressed up with a skirt and heels for a special occasion, or kept casual with a pair of jeans and trainers for a more everyday look like I've styled it here. Thank you for watching, and remember to like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in 2 weeks with a new sewing video. Bye!